the results of the 2025 presidential runoff that gave the victory to current President Daniel Noboa. This way, González emphasized that her party Citizens' Revolution has always recognized the electoral results except Sundays. González denounced that previous opinion polls and surveys, including those of the national government, did not present a difference as alarming as the one of the vote seemingly counted. With many irregularities being denounced by voters and organizations, González demanded that the votes be recounted with the due transparency.
Quiero ser muy clara y enfática.
I want to be very clear and categorical. The Citizens' Revolution has always recognized a defeat in the last elections when the polls and statistics have shown it. Today we do not recognize the results. I am going to be very clear, in the name of the men, women, children, young people, whom I represent, whom all of us who are here represent, in the name of the people we represent. We do not recognize the results presented by the National Electoral Council.
After the denunciation of electoral fraud by the Citizen Revolution candidate Luisa González, the National Electoral Council of Ecuador proclaimed Daniel Noboa as the re-elected president of the country, after a process marked by irregularities with the government of Daniel Noboa and the CNE interfering in the electoral exercise. In addition, members of the Citizen Revolution denounced that the electoral body was uploading the minutes without signing them, which is a violation of the electoral laws of the country. Staying in Ecuador, the vice presidential candidate Diego Borja denounced irregularities in the electoral process, pointing out that the exit polls only showed a 2 percentage point difference between the two candidates.
This is an extremely rare result, extremely rare, which gives us elements to say that it is absolutely desired. Look, some facts. There are 11 surveys that gave us the triumph of the binomial of the Citizens' Revolution. There are 2 exit polls, which are the measurements at the polling stations. One gave candidate Noboa the triumph, and the other gave us the triumph. In both cases, with a difference of around 2 percentage points. Neither his nor ours showed major differences. And now that the official results are given, we are with a difference of 12 percentage points in favor of Noboa, when neither the surveys nor their exit polls showed that.
Precisely in this regard, the General Secretary of the Citizens' Revolution Party of Ecuador, Andrés Arauz, denounced through a social media post some of the irregularities detected during the electoral process. Arauz presented evidence of alleged violations to the electoral law and showed minutes without the proper signatures. He warned, according to Article 127 of the Code of Democracy, a tally sheet that does not have the joint signatures of the President and Secretary of the Board is not valid. However, he continued, the National Electoral Council is uploading minutes without signatures to support the results. In all cases, they are in favor of Noboa. Regarding the accusations of important political personalities of Ecuador and the rest of the world about the electoral fraud of presidential candidate Daniel Noboa in the presidential elections of the country, the Executive Secretariat of ALBA TCP issued the following communique. In view of the development of the second round of elections for the presidency and vice presidency of the Republic of Ecuador, organized under a biased and unusual decree of a state of exemption, having an important impact on the provinces with the greatest popular electoral tradition, In a context of general intimidation of the people and open advantage by the government of Daniel Noboa, the Executive Secretariat of the Bolivarian Alliance for the Peoples of Our America, ALBA-TCP, categorically condemns these irregular actions that suggest the execution of a clear premeditated electoral fraud. The ALBA-TCP Executive Secretariat highlights the democratic spirit of the Ecuadorian people in the defense of their sovereignty and democracy, and supports the demand for a review of the electoral process through a rigorous investigation, including a comprehensive audit of all procedures and measures, as well as the corresponding and transparent recount of the votes cast. This is the only way to guarantee respect for the will of the people and peace in the sister Republic of Ecuador.
We are now going live to Ecuador with a special envoy, Jorge Stoso, to learn everything that is happening a day after the results were known in Ecuador's presidential runoff. Hello, Gestoso. Welcome to From the South. What can you tell us of this Monday?
Well, as you was mentioning, Luisa Gonzalez does not recognize the results of the runoff, as it does the same situation his political party, the Revolución Ciudadana, and she called, and these are her words, that the country has witnessed the worst and most grotesque electoral fraud in its history, and added, I reject the official count and I demand a full recount. Reactions that we have seen in terms of the political arena, the CELAC in English is a community of Latin American and Caribbean states, supported the denunciation of Luisa Gonzalez. Another organization, we're talking about the ALBA organization. In English, it's the Bolivarian Alliance for the Peoples of Our Americans, also denounced the fraud that she denounced and also support her situation. Former President of Bolivia, Evo Morales, supported Luisa Gonzalez, denounced precisely the fraud. He believes that the situation is practically a carbon copy of what he has lived, a coup d'etat mostly after the election, that also he has been even persecuted and even has been tried to kill. Well, he was very, very supportive of Luisa Gonzalez. And the current president of Mexico, we're talking about Claudia Sheinbaum, she said that we have to wait. We need to have more information. Here, inside the political party, the Revolución Ciudadana, there are certain members that are more inclined to accept the results and move forwards, and some of them, for example, the Vice President Diego Borja, is absolutely supportive of Luisa Gonzalez, and also he denounced that it has been a fraud, that was a situation plagued with irregularities, and also is asking the National Electoral Council to start a full investigation. We get back to you now.
Jorge Gestoso for this latest information. We're going to stay in tune in upcoming news brief to continue learning everything that is happening in Ecuador. Let's now continue with the analysis of Sunday's electoral day in Ecuador. We are now joined by international law expert Dr. Yvonne Telles. Welcome once again to From the South. What can you tell us?
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Dr. Yvonne, before going into deeper details, what are your general thoughts regarding Sunday's presidential runoff?
Okay, I think that what we have faced is a very strong shift between what was expected. I mean, the results that were expected between the candidates, and I'm talking that what we were foreseeing was that even whoever won the election will do it for a very small margin. And what we saw yesterday, the first great leap from this previous idea, And I think that's the legitimate reason for a candidate Gonzalez in this case to ask for this review of the polls. Um, I understand as Dr. Gestoso was announcing, I just heard him. Some of the factions, some of the people that are within the Revolución Ciudadana movement are more keen to accept the results. Some of the others are just backing Luisa Gonzalez in this demand. I think the international regional organizations such as ALBA, such as CELAC, have made an announcement. And I think that for sakes of the health of democracy, it is a good, or at least is a healthy move if the candidate doesn't feel and doesn't feel well with how the polls went, how the elections went, and her legitimate right to ask for at least a revision, a review. It's under the rules of this game, and I think that for the sakes of democracy, if that has to be done, just to be clear about what happened yesterday and this radical shift from what was expected before the results that we achieved, well then this has to be done. Um, as I'm saying, not just because of to satisfy some just personal or political parties' interests, but for the sakes of a healthy democracy, taking into account as well the difficult times that from the last 8 years we have been facing regarding the institutional fractures that the state has gone through.
Doctor, you were referring to the call, the demand of Luisa Gonzalez for a recount. What legal avenues exist in the country for this process, and what possible barriers might she find as she's carrying out this recourse?
Of course, the Electoral Council has the obligation and has already made an announcement regarding her demands, and they have to facilitate all the measures, all the mechanisms in order for this recount to be carried out. However, there are some legal rules that have to be followed in order for this to be carried out. That means that also there has to be an objective and neutral advisory accompanying the whole process. Also, and I stated that yesterday. What I believe is that if Luisa Gonzalez has made this big, um, um, let's say, demand, and she has denounced this publicly, I believe that she might have very good proof in order to carry this out, because it's such a big thing to do after the elections. Again, she has all the right to do it, but we're talking about well, approximately 1 million votes of difference. So that means that we have to be talking about 1 million official registry of every vote in order to come to this demand. So I think that this is a very serious issue. It can be done, but under the legal requirements, that means that in this case, Revolución Ciudadana and candidate Gonzalez has to come to the table with all the proof that supports her demands.
Doctor, what response in this context, what response has the National Electoral Council given, if it has given any? And is there a track of credibility, of lack of credibility in the process regarding everything that has happened during the campaign coming to yesterday, the electoral day?
Yes, first, on the first thing, yes, the Electoral pre the official way, but has responded as a previous answer to Luisa González's demand, saying that yes, that it will provide all all the facilities in order for this recount to be carried out. So yes, they have answered, and I think that's, I mean, under the rules of democracy, that has that was the response that we were expecting, because she has all her right to demand for this recount. However, responding, answering to the second part of the question, we cannot deny that the Electoral Council has faced some serious questions that we have posed regarding its distance from the current government. We have not seen the force that we will have expected as citizens regarding the transparency of its actions. There are some things that have not been clear, and that in this case, I think, has to be surpassed in order for this recount to be transparent and to be reliable. And I think that demands for international observers to accompany this recount. Otherwise, we could face a deepening of this polarization and these doubts and these critics that have imposed to the Electoral Council regarding the independence that it hasn't shown with the current government.
Thank you, Doctor. We're going to stay attentive to everything that is happening in Ecuador. Thank you for your time and for your inputs hearing from the South.
Thank you very much.
In Ecuador, the candidate for the Citizens' Revolution, Luisa González, did not recognize the results of the 2025 presidential runoff